right now, don't we? BLM wants more special rights, even more than they already have, right? Then we got Asian folks. Oh, Asian crimes against Asian people are on the rise. Oh, anti-Semitism is on the rise. And then, of course, we hear these anti-Semitism what do they call them? Protests. That's right. We got Jewish folks protesting, even stereotypes that try to paint Jewish people as good with money and things like that. These are all forms of racism. Of course, then we've got these commercials telling us these poor Jews. Well, if they're not homeless Jews in America, they really don't have it that bad. If they're not homeless Asians in America, they really don't have it that bad. If they're not homeless black people in America, they really don't have it that bad. The true risk factors for all those groups comes down to the term mentally ill and the term poverty. That's right. Eugenics programs. Hell, even Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider himself, who had dinner with Booker T. Washington, right? Is that it? Booker T? I know where you guys are going with that. I know exactly where you're going with that. You're going to that wrestling thing. Booker T. Yeah. Reality is, American eugenics programs, before and after World War II, were and are still in full effect. It's not all about euthanasia. There's also forced and chemical sterilization. We still have that going on today, folks, here in America. Matter of fact, Letha Plunkett had it in her head that she was going to have her son chemically sterilized when he turned 18, against his will. His only real issue is that people don't understand him or try to understand him. He's not a bad youngin'. Now, here in America, we get to see that the people that were gone after in the 1920s and earlier. In the 1920s, we had a lot of anti-Semitism, didn't we? Well, there was a lot of anti-Semitism before that as well. The anti-Semitism wasn't just German, it was worldwide. Nobody wanted the Jewish immigrants. Nobody wanted them. The United States was in the middle of its own eugenics program and its own blaming the Jews program. The British were involved in their own eugenics program and their own blaming the Jews program. Meanwhile, how much did the German people know? They knew a lot. They were involved in it. Much like the American people today. They know what's going on. They choose to look the other way. Some people just aren't people to the American eugenics frame of mind. Just as in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when people were pushing to have the homeless and the mentally ill euthanized. That's right, euthanized. Your parents kick you out of the house at 18 with nothing. It's an automatic death sentence. If you got Down syndrome, automatic death sentence. If you're autistic, automatic death sentence. And the words they use to describe us are so fucking horrific. People saying we should be put to death like the Spartans did to their kids. Oddly enough, the same people who worship the Spartans, you worship them as warriors, right? But those of you who I see putting them Spartan stickers all over your vans and all over your big-ass lifted trucks, you're all the racist assholes I know. You're all the homophobic assholes that I know, the people who are afraid of homosexuals. Perhaps that's why you worship the Spartans so much, because homosexuality was mandated by the state. That's right, folks. If you were a Spartan, it was mandatory for you to be a homosexual. You did not have a choice in it. You were forced to be a homosexual. Also, you had to be peak physically. If you were born too small, they'd throw you in a pit or off the side of a hill, depending on what era. Eugenics is nothing new. We see today with Ukraine, who's going to take the Ukrainian refugees? Who's going to take American refugees? That's what I want to know. We got millions of American refugees who are not entitled to these rights that Americans are supposed to be entitled to. The American Eugenics program went after the homeless and the disabled first. The German Eugenics program went after the homeless and the disabled first. Our eugenics program continues to this day. But the American people have shown loud and proud they just don't give two shits. Yes, you care about a disabled person if their family cares. Sure, it's wrong to do these things to somebody who has Down syndrome, somebody who's autistic, someone who has cerebral palsy. And yes, we have protections under the law. We also have loopholes that our predators in the law and our predators elsewhere get to use against us. Every single government official knows this is being done. Every single one of them. There is not a government official in the United States, from the president all the way down to the lowliest postal worker, they are all well fucking aware. The reason is simple. It's because the American people are well aware. They want to look away because the party is more important. Getting the D. We get to hear women pushing eugenics against men. I've heard this my entire life. How all men should be euthanized and all men should be prevented from breeding, and only male babies should be allowed to be human. We've had 4 women in 6 years drown their kids because their kids were boys. That's just the drownings. We want to talk about how men are violent killers, but then we look at the most prolific serial killers in American history. They are all women and they are all nurses. They also have a higher body count because people don't want to believe that a female would do such a thing. Sugar and spice and everything nice. Well, I bet you take a sample from one of them women, maybe her fingernails, maybe her hair, maybe what do they call that, a biopsy? Or they take a little piece of your flesh and they put it in that machine and they test it and see what's in it. Do you think it'll be sugar and spice and everything nice that the machine puts up as your chemical composition? Not fucking likely. Well, you guys are pushing goddamn wives' tales. You just gotta love yourself. Oh yeah, that stops the victimization. Sure it does. You fucking dolt. Those of you too young to know what that word means. It means blockhead or humble fellow. It means stupid. It means you're an idiot. I've had people say thank you when I told them they were a dolt. Man, you're a fucking dolt. When you tell someone they're a dolt and they say thank you, they think you're calling them an adult. Well, that ain't nothing to be fucking proud of. Now you think you're special because of your fucking age? Holy shit. How about people are people regardless of what age they are, regardless of what skin color they are, regardless of what gender they are? And how about we fucking call these eugenics motherfuckers on their bullshit? Even women. Just because somebody is a female Nazi doesn't mean she ain't still a Nazi. On that same lines, I do want to mention that the state of Colorado had card-carrying members of the KKK who were black. That's right, folks. There were black members of the KKK. I gotta go make some videos today. I gotta try to make them in either Starbucks or Denny's, and depending on how many people are there and how loud it is and how loud they've got the music and whether or not there's children there and whether or not the crazy lady next to me is talking nonstop about her trips to fucking Europe. Holy hell. I got shit I gotta get done, but I don't have a place to do it. All of these folks who have a place where they can do it, they want to come down to a coffee shop. Well, why are they coming to the coffee shop? Because they want to get the fuck out of the house. God damn, it'd be nice to have a house. That represents safety, people. Yes, I understand people can break into your house. I also understand that they're less likely to break into your house than they are to victimize somebody on the fucking streets who is easy to get a hold of. You don't have to fucking break anything to get a hold of them. You don't have to break into their house to steal anything. So, of course, there's less charges for you if there are charges pressed. But as we've seen, literally dozens upon dozens of assaults against me by law enforcement. And law enforcement has repeatedly been able to prevent me and the public from seeing the cameras of those instances by calling me mentally ill and pretending that I'm fucking insane. Pretending that I am too retarded to know up from down, left from right. And then, of course, when it comes to allowing me the rights of somebody who is disabled, they have denied me all of them. They have denied me every single one of them. This is not fucking okay. But then again, I'm homeless and disabled. According to all of your eugenics programs, I'm the first to go. I'm the one group, or rather the two groups, that nobody actually gives a fuck about. You get to see how the news media wants to call everybody who kills somebody mentally ill, mentally ill, mentally ill. If your husband is beating on you, and beating on you, and beating on you until you have post-traumatic stress disorder, and you know that he's going to probably rape you while he's beating you. So you lay there in bed with your kitchen knife. And when he comes in to do his thing again, and you shove that kitchen knife so far into his groin that it cuts everything in there, and he bleeds to death. And you say, that poor woman, that poor woman. Well, what if it's the other way around? What if it's the woman who wants to come in and beat on you? Wants to treat you like you're not a man because you won't get it up right when she fucking wants it. Like, no, I'm not horny right now. Getting beaten on does not give me an erection. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not into getting beaten on. At what point does the violence and the abuse become severe enough that you're allowed to stab her in the groin with a kitchen knife because you're afraid? Well, she talks about how all men should be put to death because we were born with a penis. We've got all these female predators, and it has been shown females are far more likely to be physical and sexual predators than men, by a lot. They're more likely to be stalkers than men, by a lot. But bias is what our decisions are made on, aren't they? And those police officers are subject to the same bias. Those judges are subject to the same bias. They also get to institute their eugenics program every time they put one of us in jail for defending ourselves. All I did was speak up. I spoke up against violence that was committed against me before Natalie was killed. And to this day, I get treated like I'm some sort of a horrible person for speaking up. Retards need to go to the back of the bus. That's the treatment you guys fucking give me. Homeless people need to go to the back of the bus. Mentally ill people need to go to the back of the bus. And then you wonder why mentally ill people are taken out, you dumb motherfuckers. Because you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. Some of you want all the white people killed. Some of you want all the black people killed. Some of you want all the men killed. The fuck is wrong with you? While you treat me like I'm the one who's mentally fucking ill, you sick shits. Jesus fucking goddamn Christ. Then you want to tell me about your religion. You know, I got accused of threatening to kill people because I was speaking the words of the Bible. That's right. People who were telling me that they were Christian pretended that I threatened to kill them because I said what? Because I said Jesus said these people were going to die. According to Jesus in that book, all of these people are going to die. Every one of them. Now, as we've seen in our lifetime, everyone's going to die. Jesus wasn't wrong. He also said these people deserved to die. Now, it's okay for you to say that. It's okay for the Jesus to say that. It's okay for you to quote the Jesus. But if I do it, it makes me some sort of a monster. I'm a horrible person if I give your scripture back to you. Y'all are using that book and that belief in that imaginary creature as an excuse for doing some pretty horrible shit. Going all the way back to the beginning of the religion, by the way. Thank goodness for Judas, or we wouldn't have a Bible. We wouldn't have a Jesus that people care about and think about today. The most powerful part of Jesus' life was not the things he did in his life, it was his death. That's what we focus on. We got these Christians who don't want Muslim religion being forced on them and their kids, but they want Jesus forced on every kid in America. Jesus forced into the church. Meanwhile, we got Lutherans and Baptists still burning each other's fucking houses to the ground. Burning each other's churches to the ground. Over whose Jesus is the real Jesus. Well, apparently they both believe in the Rambo Jesus. And that ain't Jesus. What the fuck is wrong with you people? Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind. Oh yeah. And the most likely to be killed by civilians or the police or those serial killer nurses are the mentally ill and disabled. Dumb motherfuckers.